There we go. Welcome back, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Pure Vita from MCO. What are you doing in Orlando, David? MCO. I think that's what you mean. Good morning, guys. Welcome back. Happy Monday. Another week. Another week, another opportunity. Hit the like button. Appreciate that, B. How we doing, everyone? 3-day weekend. I know it's just Monday, but we do have a 3-day weekend coming. And I'm already looking forward to it, and it's only Monday. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the live stream. Welcome back to another beautiful week. Last week of August, that's right. Labor Day. James, appreciate that, James. What's up, brother? All right. Wait a few minutes for some people to jump in. Don't got too much to talk about in the intro here. We got a lot to talk about once we get into the charts. Morning, everyone. All the familiar faces. Interesting little Bitcoin drop overnight. That was interesting. Didn't expect that one. Does anyone know why? I don't see a reason why it happened besides just classic crypto, liquidation type move. Trusting the levels. Appreciate that, Fade. Yeah, it wasn't recorded so solid. That's a premiere video last night. Did you guys like that? Where you can be in the chat while it premieres. Seems to build up some hype around the video. Rumors people are dumping and buying ETH. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm just not much in the Bitcoin weeds, but definitely saw that big drop overnight, and probably because Ethereum went through an all-time high, that probably saw a lot of selling step in there. I would assume that has something to do with it. But yeah, definitely some weakness on the crypto overnight, and I think it's a little bit of a cautionary spot this morning, my friends. I don't think you want to just walk in today and start just shorting crypto. I think you want to be just a tad bit cautious about that overnight drop sort of being made back, or at least just be careful, man. The same way that you don't know why crypto dropped 3% last night is the same way you wouldn't know why it went up 3% in today. So just a little bit cautious there. I don't really have much of a desire to get sort of messed up into that move on a Monday morning. Yeah. Wondering someone could please help me figure out how to transfer my key levels to TradingView. You really can't transfer levels to TradingView. You got to redo them all. I'm not sure exactly what you mean there, One Life, but just got to redo. If you're talking about the TradingView levels that I create, you sort of have to do them manually. It sucks. I wish there was a way to. Yeah, I mean, maybe there is a way that I don't know, but. All right, 8:05 on the dot. Let's get started. Press that like button as you jump in. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let's get started. So, hey, camera's all messed up. Hold on here. Make that a little bit smaller. There we go. All right. So today, your fantasy, yeah, fantasy football league filled up within 10 seconds. Yeah, it sure did. So congrats to those that got into the fantasy football league, because that filled up real quick. Yeah, it was like, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds that we got 24 people in there. We got two leagues of 12. So yeah. All right. So first things first, let's pull up the economic calendar. Economic calendar, really the only thing major on the economic calendar this week is GDP. We have a few other things, but GDP is the big one. So right here you guys can see this week, new home sales today, 10 o'clock. Not that interested there, but something to watch, of course, as always. Durable goods tomorrow, 8:30. Consumer confidence, 10 o'clock on Tuesday. Could be something to pay attention to. Red folder events start on Thursday. GDP, unemployment claims. And, hold on. And then after that, PCE price index, 8:30 on Friday. So, not much, right? A little bit here and there. Some things, of course, we always pay attention to the economic calendar. We know this by now. So there's your calendar. Pay attention to it. Make sure you know when things are coming out. Earnings side, we do have the biggest and the largest this week, and that is NVIDIA. NVIDIA Wednesday is definitely a big boy for the semis, for the market. So let's just be aware of that on Wednesday this week. Might want to be a little bit cautious of trying to guess what happens there, right? Just, you guys know the typical story. You guys know the spiel. So NVIDIA Wednesday, let's be aware of it. Snowflake, CrowdStrike, also a few interesting names there. Let's see how the retailers report, right, to get an idea on that discretionary spending. Kohl's, Abercrombie and Fitch, Williams and Sonoma. Williams-Sonoma is the ultimate consumer discretionary. That's like, let's spend $100 on a wooden spoon today. That's definitely going to be a big name there for at least the vibe of the consumer. Best Buy, right, another consumer discretionary name. Dick's, Ulta, another huge one, right? Ulta for makeup. How's the spending going on over there at Ulta? So definitely some big retailers going on this week, and definitely going to be an important read for whether you are getting, consumer spending again, or if it's still sort of tight out there. So something to pay attention to there. NVIDIA, MRVL, two semiconductors. Dell, interesting server type name there. That's really about it. Pinduoduo, I think did it have a nice earnings today? Because you do have some, it's failing it. Yeah, I mean, just another Chinese name that I have zero interest in today. So that's that. Chef, another month down. 1,064 total days of earnings from the best side. What I do. Come learn. Appreciate that, Chef. Can't wait to come to the restaurant, man. Carmine and I are planning it. So, excited for it. Appreciate that, Chef. Thank you for all the support, man. Definitely the top dog. All right. I mean, maybe you and Margin maybe have to battle it out for top dog, but appreciate all you guys, man. All right. So, with that said, let's jump into the charts, because that's really where all the magic happens. Let's start with the Nasdaq futures, and let's just first of all understand the large underperformance that the Nasdaq futures currently has, right? We saw this on the Sunday prep last night. If you watched the Sunday prep, then you saw the large outperformance on the ES versus the Nasdaq. And guys, you have some pullback levels that really need to show some holds here today to see if this move on Friday holds up, right? We need to see some solid holds at some key levels today. And the first level that I have here is this Wednesday high right here. The Wednesday high that caused that major smackdown on Wednesday of last week. I mean, look at this vertical downside move on Wednesday. That started off of 23,432. That was the high, right? Right there. and you are trading right back into it. That has to hold, in my opinion. You have to hold that. You must hold this level, right? $23,432. All right. So under that, there's not much left until these highs here at 23,368, and then you have this Tuesday low over here at 23,334. So if you fail back under, to be quite honest, I mean, if you fail back under this Wednesday high today, you are back within this channel, and you are, in my opinion, back into what I like to call sort of purgatory, right? I mean, you're right back within just a channel of nothingness. So you really want to see a higher low get formed here. I would say above Wednesday's highs. If you don't get that, not that good, right? You really want to see this maintained today for the bulls. That's going to be crucial, crucial, crucial. You fail below that, I think you could find that demand to step up around this 368, 334 spot, right? As these previous highs right here could turn into a nice hold level, right? And maybe you get the reclaim ripper, something like that. But, you know, to start the day, this is going to be my main watch, the 450, 430 area, Wednesday's highs. Very big watch there. On the QQQ, that is right here at 468.50, 469, right? See these Wednesday's highs right here? And the daily 20? This is going to be a spot that I want to see hold. If you pull a fib, that's like just about 50%, right? That's pretty much 50% right here. So to get a 50% retracement of the straight up move, that's good. To get a pullback hold at these Wednesday highs, that's very good. That has to hold though. If that does not hold, you are trading back down to 567 here, here, and here, right? Possibly down to this Tuesday low 566. So 566, 567. You fail back under 566, 567, this whole move is donezo, all right? Giving back the whole thing. And you are right back into purgatory. So you need to see some higher lows form today. And the goal and the key for you today, right, is to not anticipate it. You cannot say, yes, we are going to hold these lows and we're going to find a higher low and a long. You need to see it happen, okay? Very important today. Have some patience. See if it actually shows up. You do not want to be long here today if the market says, hey, I'm giving back the whole Friday move. That's not what you want to be stuck in. So we need to see confirmation that these pullback levels are holding today on the Qs and the Nasdaq futures at this Wednesday high, in my opinion. Okay? You don't want to see the market fall back within this straight down move. You'd like to see it hold above it, right? And that's right where we're trading right now. 432, 452 on Nasdaq. On the QQQ, that's right around 568.45 to 569. Okay? That's the Nasdaq and that's the Qs. S&P 500. Now, you can see the outperformance here, right? And I'm going to show you that right now. The outperformance is going on because where's Wednesday's highs on the S&P 500? That's down here, right? That's all the way down here at our 64.30 spot. So what did we just talk about on the Nasdaq, right? Wednesday's highs is right here. Look at where you're trading. You're trading right at it. Where's the ES Wednesday's highs? That's down here. You're still a pretty decent move away from it. You're still about 0.5% away from it. You're still about 30 points off that previous Wednesday high here. So the question is, does the ES need to come down to this level, right? And then find that hold there? And if that happens, then you're moving lower on the Nasdaq, probably under that Wednesday high, right? So you're going to have to pay attention to see what that does there today. Now, the level that you'd like to see hold, and if you guys who came to the Tuesday live stream with Carmine and I, and of course, who was paying attention to us trading that day, if you were, then you probably remember that the short we took on that Tuesday was a break and retest of the PPI lows. That was 64.53. And that, my friends, is right here. This was the short that we took on that Tuesday on the bear flag right here. And the downside trade that we took was right here. It was this failure. Short here, this downside move is our profit. That, my friends, is right under where we currently are trading again. So, in my opinion, you have to hold this 64.53 and 25 cents. That's the PPI low. 64.53.25 is the PPI low from, let me zoom out, from 2 Thursdays back, right here. See this? Right there. That's PPI. That was the low that bounced to new highs. That was also the low that rejected and created downside on Tuesday of last week. And that's the low you're trading right back into today. If you don't hold 64.53 today, you're coming back down to 64.30. And this could be a nice little short opportunity, right? It really could be. So underneath 53 into 30, you really don't have anything for this 20-point zone. Could be nice, right? Could be nice. Now, on the flip side, this could also be a major hold. And you can see it's starting to dance around there today, right? That's right here. These lows, this area right here, right? So 64.53, 64.60, definitely a zone to watch. You break PPI lows, you're going to 30. You failed back under this Tuesday high right here at 76. Important to realize as well. SPY. So that SPY trade that we took on Tuesday was what? It was the 642 break and retest. If you go back to that video, you'll remember it was posted on Carmine's channel. 642 break and retest was the short we took on that Tuesday. That's right here, right? That was right here. 642 break, retest, rejection. Beautiful trade. Where is that? That's right here. Now that's going to be a very key spot to see if we hold today on the SPY, if we trade back down to it. You can see here on the hourly chart, look at 642. Look how big this spot is. 642 to 641.40. Huge spot here. Has to hold. You break under that, you're going back to this Wednesday high here at 640 and that CPI high right there. Okay? Now, you can see there's a little bit of a bearish thing going on here right now. And what is that? Look at this Wednesday high, or this Tuesday high. See that rejection right there? Look what just happened. Smackdown. Very, very important. Right? Look at that. That's very telling. See this? Bam, bam. Look at this. Bam, bam, bam. You are now failing under this Tuesday rejection high. That's very telling. So for me, there's really no reason to take any long here on the SPY until you get down to 642. Right? There's no level here. Or you're going to have to reclaim 644. Right? Reclaim that and trap sellers below it. That's the only other way. So right now, there's really only one trade, and it's downside to 642. Unless you get a quick reclaim back above 644. Yeah, there is a weird discrepancy there, right? PPI lows is 642 on the SPY, right here, 641.40, 642 zone, and you can see the SPY is further away than the ES is to that level, which is a little bit strange, but we'll have to be watching both, as we always do. All right, so that's that. IWM, strong outperformance. I think you're going to want to see that pullback as well, right? Pull back to that 230.70 high right here. These highs right here, the 230.70. That's going to really be the key spot that I'd like to see pullbacks into. Anywhere between 230.70 and then these highs here of around, let me get my OHLC on. These highs right around this 231.50. I'm going to be watching sort of that, dollar range in there. Just looking to see if we can get a pullback on the IWM back to those previous highs. See these previous highs here? And this previous high here? That would be an ideal pullback on the IWM today. Right back into here. Right there. Give us that drop. And then let's see if there's a new hold there. If not, this thing could continue lower. So going to be watching that whole zone there. Okay? Looking to see if you hold above these highs right there. If not, could get a little bit weak again. So let's see. Dow Jones. Nice. I mean, these Dow levels, we always talk about it, man. Like, I don't touch these Dow levels for days on end, and they just always respect. It's wild. The Dow is a great level-to-level trading index. So you can see, I mean, we had this Dow 45.8 level on, I don't even remember when we put it on, but there's a reason for it, 45.8, and look at the rejection that's coming in at 45.8. So that's very clean. What's the level that you'd want to see the Dow pull back to? I'd say back to these highs right here, 45.3. Right? Give us that give us that retest. Give us that sort of retracement. That would be just about a about a 50% retracement, right? From these lows to these highs, that's 50% retracement back to 45.3. That's a good pullback, right? That's not chasing Dow strength. That's not, getting FOMO at these highs. That's saying, hey, it's right to get a 50% retracement. It's good to pull back to these highs. Let's allow this to come back down, right? Very mature way to think about this move. So I like the pullbacks, and you guys know we talk about this straight up, straight down. It's possible. And so we got to be aware of that today before we start going out there and grabbing longs, looking for upside like Friday. We got to see what level defends today, because right now it's not really showing me much defense yet. So we're going to have to give this some time. Very important today, okay? All right. Moving on to some equities. If you guys could, please press that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. 2,600 people, 1,000 likes. That's not bad. We actually are doing a decent job on the likes today. But if you could, try to get me to 1,500. 1,500 likes. I'd appreciate that. Let's run through some equities. So let's always remember the equity ideas are only valid if the market idea is valid. So we have to remember that today. Now, Tesla. Let me just give you some big picture Tesla idea, right? You guys got to remember, Tesla, we've been talking about this weekly chart. Previous major highs, look at these lows, look at this little curl that's going on Tesla, right? That's very interesting. Little curl back higher, starting to form here off this major weekly low. That's a very interesting chart. You also have a major weekly high right here that held as the weekly low of last week at 313.80 on the dot. That is very interesting. So Tesla, when you zoom out, definitely looks to be forming something. Now, that doesn't mean that there's still not supply above. Tesla above really needs to break 370. Over 370, you have an absolute heyday on this stock, right? 370 is the breakout point. Major weekly high, major weekly low. 370 is the spot, without a doubt. That has to break. Without that, things are still on the questionable side. Now, what's the next level? 350. Right here. On the 4-hour chart, you guys can see major 350 rejections and major 350 rejections. You need to clear out 350. If you clear out 350, you go to 370, you go to that weekly breakout point. But you have to clear out 350. The level that I think you need to see hold today to decide whether Tesla is actually trying to move higher is these lows right here. 333 to 335. Major lows here, major highs here, major highs here, and this needs to turn into a low. We need to see Tesla hold this as a new low today. If you do not hold 333 today, you are moving lower to 327. You need to hold this area right here. If you fail 333, you're coming back down to this 327 spot and that daily 200 SMA, which could provide a new long, but it's not going to be until this pulls back, right, and fills in some of this move. So for me, you need to hold this 333 to 335. This is a major 4-hour pivot, right? Look at this. Major 4-hour holds, major 4-hour rejections, huge 4-hour rejections there. This must hold. If this does not hold, you are retracing lower, right? Back into probably this 327, 325 zone. Back into these highs, back into these highs, back into these lows. And then you'll have to look again to see if it builds again, but won't happen today, right? If it breaks 333, okay? NVIDIA, not really interested in trading NVIDIA until Thursday of this week. I don't want to trade NVIDIA prior to earnings. NVIDIA is trading back into major highs here and rejecting, so that's very telling to me. 177 is a must hold for NVIDIA today, but to be honest, guys, I'm not even going to talk about it because I'm not even going to trade it. So good luck trading NVIDIA. I don't think it's going to be a good thing to trade before Thursday. SMH, 292, 293. In my opinion, this is your must hold spot. You guys can see right here on the 4-hour chart, we had some major previous highs here at 292, 293. You had a major rejection right here, right? Look, market was coming up, smack down. Now, when it reclaimed it and held it here, it popped higher, reclaimed it, held it, went to 303. Look what it's doing now. Reclaimed it. Can it hold it again? It's got to hold here. Daily 20, 292, 293. You got to see the market defend the zone. If you cannot, if you can defend here, I like you, pushing back into 297, 298. If you fail back under this, you're coming back down, right? Back into this zone down here. So this is a big spot for the semis today. And guess what? What I would anticipate is probably a bunch of BS until Wednesday on the semiconductors, to be quite honest. That's just the most likely thing, right? NVIDIA earnings Wednesday, maybe some sideways action, bunch of nothing, then Wednesday decides, right? That's probably the move. So a little bit on the iffy side about trading semis today. I will be watching AMD though, because I still think we have that opportunity on AMD through this low volume area above, this sort of area of opportunity. You can see right here this straight down move, which I still think is possible to get a move back up to that daily 20, back up into that 174. I don't think you trade this looking for like a breakout to new all-time highs. I just want to try to see if there's an opportunity back to 174 and that daily 20. So keeping an eye on this. Today, it's looking okay. I'd like to see it try to hold this 166 area right here. If it doesn't hold 166, then you're probably channel bound and you just sort of do nothing until NVIDIA earnings. So watching 166, watching the 168, 50 area, 168.50. If you can break above Friday's highs, and then I think you will get your move to 174. If you don't get over Friday's highs today, then I would say semiconductors are pretty mute until Wednesday on NVIDIA earnings. Right? Really not the sector that I'm like that aggressive into today. Some other equities that I am watching. Let's keep an eye on Amazon. This one is slightly interesting to me today. Amazon on the reclaim of 225, 226 zone. This is very interesting here. I would be watching to see if Amazon can turn this previous high right here and some of these previous highs right here and right here into new lows. If it can hold above the daily 20, little pullback retracement long here, right? A retracement from this low to this high would be around 50%, right at the daily 20 SMA. That's a fantastic pullback long to watch today. So probably my top watch, right, today, 225, 226. Looking to see if that holds. Upside targets 230. Definitely like this little watch here today. Over 230, you go 234. Google outperformance on Friday. Pullback longs for me around this 205. Going to be looking for a little pullback to this 205, 205.40. Triple top high, 1, 2, 3. Triple top high. Can that turn into a pullback long, right? A little bit on a retracement move. Retracement would be around a 50% retracement, right? Give us that 205 pullback. Look for that new long opportunity. Again, the idea here today to protect yourself is retracement longs. It's not I'm long after a straight up move on Friday. It's let's get a real retracement. Let's look for the next long at a lower level. That's a key demand. Not I'm going to just absolutely chase everything out of the gates today after Friday went straight up. Let the market prove to you that pullbacks are good, but they also turn into strong holds. That's very important today. Meta, not that interested. Honestly, if anything, if the market's weak today, I actually like Meta to the downside, to be honest, guys. Meta, previous major lows here, previous major lows here, turning into a rejection point right at the daily 20 SMA. If anything, this looks like a fade to me, if the market is weak. So, a little bit of eyes on Meta today, but we'll see what it does at that daily 20. Netflix, no interest. This thing has completely died off 1200. I'm not trading that until something comes back into it. The life has been sucked out of that trade. Microsoft, no life. Totally not interested in that. Palantir, sort of stuck. 162, 151, really nothing there. You got to get over one of these levels, above or below one of these levels, under 151 or over 162. If it's not there, I'm not touching it. Coinbase and MSTR, really not interested in today because I just don't trust what happens here today on Bitcoin. There is too large of a gap down here to think that this can't come right back up. I'm not going to trust downside on crypto today. I feel like that's just a total rookie move today, in my opinion. I could be dead wrong, but to me, chasing Bitcoin downside could be an absolute destruction idea today. Right? If that Bitcoin bounces to fill that gap and you're short MSTR and Coinbase, you're going to get ripped to shreds. So, yeah, not interested in that today at all. Just a gut feeling. And if that is my gut feeling, then I'm not going to change that gut feeling, right? That's how I trade. If I think that there's a potential risk to people that are getting too aggressive on the short side on crypto today, then I'm going to trust myself there. So, not going to touch that downside move on crypto today. Let it prove to me that it's actually weak, not just some kind of random overnight drop that then fills the gap and then just absolutely punishes people that are chasing downside. So that's not interesting to me. Guys, I got to be honest. There is not a lot I'm interested in today. To be frank, it's really about what the market does today, right? Because you just don't know. There's too much question about whether that hold on. You don't know whether that move on Friday is just going to be given back. That's still a question mark to me, and I need to see it. I need to see it. The only other thing I'm slightly interested here on TEM. If you guys remember our TEM read, this hold over these major highs here and this Thursday high. If we pull back and hold this strong today, this could be interesting. I'm going to be keeping a little bit of an eye on this today. Previous major high and high, little retest long. Does it show up today? I'll be watching that. You could be watching some of these consumer discretionary names as we talked about in our Sunday prep. Home Depot over 420 is a big breakout on the daily chart. Take a look at this. Look at Home Depot 420. I have an alert set there. That's a big boy spot on Home Depot. The other one we talked about on the live stream or on the Sunday prep is the TJ Maxx. Right? Major previous highs here. Gap up on earnings, gap fill, pull back to the retest level, 135, 135.85, right? Starting to curl off that retest level right here, the earnings gap fill. This could be interesting. This could be interesting. So watching that today as well. Just gonna get an idea about the discretionary move today. See what it looks like. Yeah, Lululemon's interesting. I have a little level here at 205. I want to see maintain. Right, I want to see Lululemon maintain these highs here and try to curl back higher off of them. But again, very early, right? Very early. I think we watch. I think we stay patient. See what, yeah, Costco, not great. Middle of absolutely nowhere. This is the level that it needed to break at 1,000, right? And it did not. It failed it aggressively. So look what Costco is doing, right? Here's your Costco daily chart. Where are you trading? You're trading in the center of nothing. Look at this. It's right smack dab in the middle of nothing. So, not interesting there either. Aklo, slightly interested today on this one. Right here. You guys can see Aklo. Major lows, major lows, major lows, major high. Can this reclaim and create a new long? This one's slightly interesting today. Right? Look at this. Major low, major low, major low, into rejections, you're back above it. So if this turns into a strong hold spot today, this 70 spot, 69.50, 70 spot, that could be an interesting reclaim long back up to like this daily 20. That one's going to be on my watch a little bit. Uber. Yeah, Uber held 94 like a beast. Yeah, that's a nice looking chart, right? It's a nice looking chart. Uber over 94. On the daily, nice break and retest 94. All-time highs 97.72. I'd probably just look to see if Uber can break over that all-time high, man. That's a nice hold at 94 for sure. I'll put a little alert on 97.72. I'm always game for a little all-time high watch. 97.72 Uber. Is that all-time highs? Who remembers when we were our thesis on Uber back in like the 40s? Who remembers our Uber? If everyone uses it, if it's part of everyone's life, it's probably a good stock to buy, right? Look at this thing. Beautiful. Could you imagine a life without Uber? Probably not, right? It's a staple. It has become a staple of people's lives. And we said that about a year ago, just so you know, on this live stream. And a lot of you probably remember that. And I think I'm still right a year later. And I think I'll continue to be right, because it is a staple. Beautiful. Yeah, all-time highs, 97.72. Man, that's really it. I think you gotta see out the market today. You gotta see what happens at these lows. You have to wait to see possibly what happens on NVIDIA earnings to get the real move. I'm interested to see what the consumer staples look like, and the real estate, and the all that, all the rate sensitive, what do the rate sensitive sectors show me today? My immediate watches on the day, I'll just show you. These are my immediate watches on the day. Number one, Amazon, pullback to this daily 20. That's an immediate watch. Tesla, pullback 335, 333. That's an immediate watch. AMD, failing, so this might not be an immediate watch anymore, but going to be watching that 166 spot. But semis, if semis fail this daily 20, not that interesting. Going to keep an eye on that OKLO pullback to that 69.50.70. I'll always be watching Palantir over the next few days, just because it's been a major move. There could be another fade on Circle today. If you guys saw, look at Friday on Circle, my friends. This has got to be one of the most disgusting selling moves I've ever seen. I mean, we sold, just think about how much selling went on Friday on Circle. This whole move got sold off before end of day. Actually nuts, right? So, if there's ever a confidence that this stock is going to get sold into every pop, I don't know if there's ever a better confidence builder than Friday. Friday, the market went literally vertical, and this entire move got sold into. So that is wild. So that might just be sort of your watch today, is to see if this thing just wants to die again. It could be something to watch, especially if that Bitcoin weakness does stay in. I would just be a little bit cautious. I would say watch out for like this. I would say watch out for this Friday low. Friday low 131, Wednesday low 129. Right, just keep an eye on those lows. 129.10 is Wednesday's lows. Friday's lows 131. Keep an eye on those lows down there. But if this thing starts flushing through all that, you probably can stay pretty confident that it's gonna fade because of that entire move on Friday, getting totally sold into. The other one that you saw a total sell into on Friday is right here. Look at this on Reddit. Straight up, entire move sold off before even 1 o'clock, right? Before 1 o'clock, it was completely sold into, and actually probably closed red on the day. That's wild. So this is another one that's in a heavy fade mode. All right, and look at this 4-hour chart on Reddit. Look at that. Total 4-hour fade. Look at that candle in the 4-hour. That is disgusting. So if Reddit breaks under this 212 spot, what's the low of this candle here? The low of this 4-hour candle right here is 211.80. If you break under that 4-hour candle at 211.80, I'd say you got some juice, right? I'd say back down to this 4-hour candle right here. And that's right around the daily 20. 205, 205.70. That could be a nice little 6-point move on Reddit to the downside if markets are weak today. Total underperformance. So watch that 211.80 low on Reddit today. Could be sort of interesting there. Okay. All right, guys. It's gonna be a day of data collection, as Mondays typically are. We have to see whether these holds come in on the market. Very important. Open, yeah. Open over 541 is huge for those guys that want to, look for this thing, this juicer move. This has been a pretty nice move here. This high, right here, right there, that daily high, $5.41. Over that, You don't got much, you know. But yeah, watch out for 541 on open. That's a big spot. The other one that I would be sort of sneaky watching is Intel. Intel getting government, the government is buying it a 10% stake in this company. I mean, if I had any belief that people want to make money, right, I would assume that the government's going to want to make money off that investment, and I'm going to assume they're going to do everything possible to make the Intel stock price go up, just to be honest. So, yeah, I would watch Intel over 2641. That's these 4-hour highs right here. You get above that, you might be grooving. So, Intel 2641. That's also something to keep an eye out for. The government taking a 10% stake in this company. Very interesting. All right, guys. I hope you have a fantastic trading day. If you want to trade live with me on a daily basis, check out the link down below. Press that like button before you head out. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.